Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Fierce Files. Today I want to introduce to some and welcome to others Dr. Sheila Robinson. Now, Sheila is the owner and publisher of Diversity Woman magazine, a professional business magazine for women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs. Pretty much is for all women, races, cultures, and backgrounds. Now, Sheila started her career as a 14-year executive at DuPont, but when her division was sold, this woman was bold enough to say, I'm out of here. I resigned, right? Or she resigned from the company to pursue a long-awaited dream to launch a professional magazine for women seeking career advancement opportunities. And away she went. Now, due to the overwhelming national response to her first magazine, which was North Carolina Career Network, the publication expanded nationally in April of 2008, becoming Diversity Woman. Now, if that wasn't enough, she's gotten so many awards. So in 2009, she was honored with the MEAC Image Award for her career achievements and as a positive role model for young women. She has other honors, which include the 2011 Minority Business Person of the Year by the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. She was one of the 2012 Diversity MBA Top 100 Leaders by Diversity MBA Magazine. And most recently, during the 50th March on the Capitol, she received Kingonomics Corporate Diversity Award for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So buckle your seatbelts because we got a powerhouse here. Welcome, Dr. Sheila.
Thank you so much. I am just so deeply honored to have been asked by you, Nicole. You are one of my sheroes and someone that inspires me, and I follow you on everything you do, and it is just so wonderful to be here to speak with your fabulous audience.
Well, thank you. You know, what's so funny, I have to tell the story. So Dr. Sheila and I met via email years ago and never met each other, tried to do some stuff, and it just didn't work out. So years later, I'm sitting at a conference. I'm sitting next to this fabulous woman, and we're vibing. I mean, she's saying stuff that I'm thinking, and I'm saying stuff she's thinking, and we're just chatting. Then we go to another workshop, and we sit by each other again, and she's saying stuff I love, and I'm like, girl, what's your name? And she said her name. I said, hold on, girl. So when I told her my name, we just screamed and had a moment. So I love how God sat us right next to one another years later. And I've kept up with you every step of the way. So I'm going to go right in. I'm going to go right in with you, Dr. Sheila, because I love your story. Because again, as a corporate woman, a successful career woman, right? You could have been okay with that, but you had this desire. And here's the thing, working in corporate has nothing to do with publishing a magazine. So exactly. A whole different thing. So in that moment, when you said yes to this desire in your heart, what did you have to say no to?
You know, that's a great question, because I actually had to say no to Sheila, what my wants and desires was, because when leaving corporate America, and I tell everyone that I would have worked with this organization. I had an amazing career forever. I really did not have a passion for entrepreneurship, but I do today. And, you know, everything that I tried to do, with the exception of this, I was hitting brick walls. So I had to, when God orders your steps, the brick walls will be there. If you are going in a direction that he does not have, that is within your purpose, you're going to hit brick walls. And the moment that I started pursuing this vision and this desire and this idea, we all get ideas all the time, but we don't act on them out of fear. Out of, you know, where am I going to get the money? What are people going to say? So the minute that I decided to say no to the things that I was trying to do and started exploring the vision and the things that God was trying to tell me to do, doors open left and right. I couldn't stop going through them, because if I tried to go backwards to what I thought I was supposed to be doing, the brick walls were there. And as long as I was going forward where God wanted me to go, doors open one after another.
But you know what's interesting, and I love that you said a brick wall, because even in the middle of your purpose, I always feel like God waits you till you get all the way out in the deep. Yeah, I'm going all the way in, y'all, right? And then you start hitting brick walls even in your purpose. And I think sometimes those brick walls are to challenge you to grow, because you keep trying to do the thing you've done. So even, and I don't know this, so I might be getting ready to hit a brick wall when I ask you this question. So when you did well with North Carolina Career Network, that magazine, you could have stayed with your first magazine and been cool and just been a North Carolina publication. But when you got to the point where you wanted to be a national publication, which is a whole nother ball game. Tell me, the moments of challenge that you met. Tell us about, any challenge you can think of and what you had to do in the face of that challenge.
Well, it's like I was playing back and forth with games with myself. And it was one sentence that I like to share, that the fear of asking myself 10 years later or on my deathbed, what if, was greater than the fear of launching out there in a dream and in a vision and just going after it. Taking, instead of, putting that one foot in the pool. When I was Career Network, all I was doing is just wading in the baby pool.
Right.
But to dive deep in, I had to be willing to put that fear away. Now, this is one thing that helped me with the fear. The number one thing was the fear of not trying was greater than the fear of what if something went wrong. That was number one. Number two is you should define success. What does success mean to you? The moment that I defined what success was for me, it was a whole new ball game. If you find yourself, picture yourself on top of a mountain with your hands up in the air, that you have arrived. What does that moment mean to you? And when I realized that success meant to me a happy, healthy life for my daughter and my mother, who are the immediate people I am responsible for because I am divorced. When I defined that that's what success was, the sky was the limit. Success was not whether Diversity Woman magazine made it. Success was not whether I should move from Career Network. Success wasn't how much money I was going to make. Should I get a job? How much I get an education? So the moment that I defined what success was for me, it opened up a multitude. I mean, the sky was the limit, as I said, because what I realized is success for me had already taken place because I had gotten rid of the what if. The what if was what was holding me back. So success for me was when I got rid of that what if, that I never have to ask myself what if again. I never have to question if that's what God wanted for me. I have followed what his path was for me. So I had already created success. What happens after that is just part of the journey of where he has me going.
That's so good. And I love it. I love that you said the whole what if conversation, because so many people stop at the what if it doesn't work. But what if it does? What if I don't have enough money? What if money comes after you start? It's almost like, when you have a GPS, the direction doesn't start till you start driving.
Exactly.
And so many people don't even start the journey to drive toward this dream, this vision, this desire. And so your story is such a testament to what it looks like to do it in the face of fear and to drive and not know the direction to you in the movement of it.
Exactly.
So good.
And be okay. You have to be okay with you and not let people, I'm a woman of faith, and I'm more concerned with what God thinks of me and following what God prepares for me than people. The moment that you let man define what your steps are, that's a derailer.
And what's that Bible verse? What good is it a man or a woman, dare I say, to gain the whole world and lose their own, I think it's soul? It might say self, but I'm going to say soul.
Exactly. Because to sleep at night, to be able to sleep at night and be at peace that you are living your purpose is priceless.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And you know, watching your journey and reading the magazine and even coming to your conferences, you know, I just see you playing so big and moving your purpose out loud bigger and bigger with every step. Right. And I've only probably been in the last 5 or 6 years of the journey. It's not like I've been here for the whole span. Right. And you know, I love how you really do. And I'm going to say it like this. It's not even about you, Sheila. And I see you do this. Everything you do is for women, that we can really be the highest and best version, that we can network with other women that look like us, that we can go into a space, especially when we're working in corporate. Well, let me say it in both ways. In corporate, when you're the only one on your team, who do you talk to? Mm-hmm. And when you're an entrepreneur, and this was me, when I started my business in 1993, I didn't have any friends that were entrepreneurs. First of all, I was being a coach, and there was no such thing as a coach in 1993. So I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Exactly.
And so what you've created is a space for both corporate and entrepreneurs to come and really find a place to get the tools and the encouragement and the support that they need.
And it's been an honor, a pleasure, a learning, growing. The only regrets I have is that I want to talk to everybody, and being in this type of platform, I can't talk to everyone, but I try to figure out a way to do it through my events, through our publication, through social media.
And even thinking about that, what just came in my mind is in every leap you've had, you know, from going to corporate to starting the first magazine to going from the first, you know, statewide to national, and even from the national magazine to now having a conference, right? And I know there's more for you, but thinking about the journey of each step to your more, right? If you could give advice to a woman that's at the edge of her more right now, she's staring in the face of, do I let this paycheck go or do I move into this thing that's rumbling inside my soul? What would you tell her? What advice would you give her? We're going to stop here and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for more. Are you ready to stand in the true power of your gifts and talents and get paid for it? Now, we're in the final 2 weeks of the Find Your Fierce experience. If you haven't heard, this is also our last year of doing a tour, so you don't want to miss it. Join us in Boston on April 27th or in Charlotte on May 4th. Go to findyourfierceexperience.com to learn more. Listen, in a 4-hour workshop with you and me, I'm going to give you everything you need to bankroll your brilliance, to align your purpose with your paycheck and create multiple streams of income from it. Plus, I'm going to teach you how to grow your business alongside your 9-to-5. I can't wait to see you there.
Well, the first thing that I would tell her, I believe, is definitely define what success means to you. That's the most important part. You need to define what success means to you. And if whatever you're doing at that moment, if that's not what success means to you, then it's time for you to create that action plan. Right. And when I say create that action plan, everything that I have done that has led to my next journey was a 1 year, a 3 year, and a 5 year plan. And you can even do it 1 month. And that means when you do a plan, those are action items. And you're setting goals. You're saying, okay, by the end of this year, I'm going to have this. So you have to take healthy risks, whether you're going after a new job, a promotion, a raise, or entrepreneurship. You take healthy risks, and that means you have to have 1 or 2 trusted confidence behind you that are going to support you and say, financially support you to make sure that, okay, this can be paid, because we have to pay our bills, so you want to take healthy risks, but there is a way that you can continue the income that you have and explore what your next goal and desire is. Because if you wake up dreading to go to work, dreading to do your business, the passion is not there, the excitement is not there, it is time. That is God letting you know it is time for you to
go.
Move.
Yeah, it's time to go, girl. Nothing, right.
It's nothing that other people are doing or that place is doing. This is a message for you. It's time for you to wake up something inside of you and reach out and start doing it. Activate that 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year plan. And then finally, I would say, and create a vision board. Vision boards work. I love doing a vision board to say what my vision is, because if you dream, that's all you'll do is dream. If you don't set goals and give yourself something visible to look at. When I first started my business, the first thing I did, I thought about what my logo would look like, what my colors would look like, and I created what my job title. I created it and let it sit there and looked at it and just watched it. And then begin to act on that action plan I put into place, rather that I'm going to call somebody today and see if they can share some information, an informational interview. I'm going to Google today on my lunch hour and find out everything that I can about this topic. There is something that you do daily to help you get to your next move, which I have the opportunity to share. We're going on our 15-year in organization, and we are bigger, better, and more. We're now Diversity Woman Media. Diversity Woman Media. We have 2 publications, Diversity Woman for consumers, Inclusion for business. We have 4 major conferences all over the country, and working on a vision that I have for number 5. So I started out North Carolina Career Network 15 years ago, and today I'm recognized in the industry as a multimedia platform and content provider to support inclusion, diversity, and advancing more women in leadership. And I would have never imagined in a million years that I would be sitting right here where I am today. But it is as a result of defining what success means, putting action plans into place, a 1-year, 3-year, and a 5-year, and creating that vision for it and marketing it so that you can see where you have the opportunity to go.
So good. Now, I'm going to unpack this a little bit because, I want to make sure the women that are listening to this, and I know many of you, well, all of you probably, some of you are in denial, let me say it like that, you listen to the Fierce Files because you know there's more for you. So your number 1, which I love, defining what success means to you. The thing that I have the pleasure of meeting women throughout the country as I go speak at events and what have you. And the thing I hear the most is perception present. The way that someone told you were supposed to be, the 2.5 kids and the house and the car and the husband. I'm telling you guys my list that I had that got blown out of the water because I don't have any kids. I have bonus children, but I don't have kids, right? So, I really want to sit with that for a minute because so often, and I want you to share about this a little because I know you meet women and talk to women and hear this too, that we get stuck in the shoulds.
So, well, you can get stuck in the shoulds, but that's what somebody else's plan is or what your plan is. And it's not what the plan is.
Come on, right.
My plan was I am going to have a minimum of 3 kids. I'm going to be married and I am going to work a great job. And all I wanted, I had limited my vision and my idea of what happiness was so narrow that it is just so sad that all I wanted to do was go to work 8 to 5, have a good job, be able to afford to contribute to the success of the income in our home, take great vacations, nice house and car, and come home and cook dinner. Right. That was my vision. And guess what? For 14 years, I beat myself up trying to make my dream come through. And it was brick wall after big brick wall. By saying, okay, surrendering to that perception, the moment I surrendered to that perception and what people thought and what I thought and what the world thought, the moment that I humbled myself and say, I'm okay with what other people think about me. The only thing I care about is what God thinks about me. And that was that inner peace, that inner joy, that inner happiness. I took some bold moves and stepped away from a situation that wasn't meant for me. It had nothing to do with it just what was meant for me. Right. And I can tell you now, the life that I have been blessed with today is greater than anything I could have ever dreamed. Right. I could have never dreamed of where I am today. And that's what happens when for those that are listening, that are people of faith, when you care more about what God thinks about you than what man thinks about you, you will soar. You will soar.
And this is such a great topic. This right here is the word, I was gonna say the price of admission, but you don't have to pay to listen to this lady. But it does cost you time, right? But the reason I'm saying that is, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about this project that we're working on together. And to make a long story short, I was telling her how so many people were putting on me that I was supposed to have kids. And even when I first started dating my husband and he asked me how many kids I wanted, I said 2, right? And he looked at me, and the first time anybody's ever asked me that, he said, "Are you sure?" And I looked at him and I said, "You're right. I actually don't think I want kids." But it was the first time that somebody gave me permission, and no one should have to give me permission to choose what I want, right? But it was the first time that I ever had the space to really think about it, because I was on autopilot. My 2.5 kids, like a Stepford wife, 2.5 kids in the car and a this and a that, right? And for the first time at 34 years old, when I met my husband, I said to myself, wait a minute, you know what? I don't think I want kids. And then the more I thought about it and prayed about it, what God put in my spirit, because at the time I had a program working with teenage girls, and that's how I started in this work, working with African-American teenage girls for 20 years. God said, I put you on earth to help other people with their children.
Exactly.
And what's so deep, y'all, and I'm bringing this up because in that moment, and when my kids starting out, all my girls are in their 40s. I don't know how old I am, but they're in their 40s, right? I keep saying y'all are passing me because I'm not getting older, right? So, but what's interesting is when they started getting of age is when that program started to fizzle out. And so I had to let go of the perception, number one, of who the world said I'm supposed to have kids, when God was using me as a catalyst for other people's children, number one. Number two, even when it was time to let that program go, because God was opening me up to bigger, I had to let go of the perception I had around my own ego around that program. Because that program had defined me for 20 years.
When you free yourself of your purpose and step into God's purpose, you soar. The sky's the limit. You live in purpose. You have peace. You understand what your assignment is. You have an assignment, and when you walk in your assignment, I cannot tell you how painful it was, because my mother used to say, I thought you loved your husband enough to eat them. And I said, oh yeah, I did, but I wasn't walking in my purpose. That was not my assignment. And I am confident without a doubt.
Well, it could have been your assignment. It wasn't his assignment, because you could have been totally in the place and doing what you were supposed to do. But that's a whole nother episode, a whole nother conversation, right? So, and I want you guys to get this, that the reason I'm bringing that up is some of you started in a career and you're staying in it, and you're staying in it because you feel like, and Michelle Obama talks about this in Becoming, because you feel like you spent all this money. She talks about the fact that she was great at being a lawyer, but she hated it. And she felt guilty because she was in debt. And some of you guys are staying in a career, in a business, because you feel guilty for wanting something different. And here is a living, breathing example of a woman that said yes in the face of, I ain't never ran a magazine before. And she didn't do it once. No. She did it twice. And now she has a media platform, because she keeps saying yes to her next level. The second thing I want to, which was good, is create the action plan. So my husband always says, a dream, and I'm going to say it wrong, hope without execution is hallucination. Because you can't just have hope and you don't ever take any action to get it going. And the vision board piece, so powerful, because even if, what's the Bible verse? Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he that readeth may run to it, or something like that, right? And now y'all, and those of you that listen to Fierce Files all the time, it's the Bible interpreted by Nicole, because I might say a wrong word, but it's the basis of the Bible verse, right? So I love that, because when you have a hope, a vision, a goal, you write the vision board so you can see it, and then you start to make a plan so that you can actually be it. That's so good.
Exactly. And I everything that I did, like people that are sitting in careers now that think they're supposed to be there, look at Michelle Obama, how everything she did they are transferable skills that play out through your life. The career journey I had before I came into entrepreneurship, I would not have the success I have if it were not for that job. And it was things in that role. I remember telling my mom that they were using me, they were abusing me. It did not make sense. The things that they had me doing, those very things have created a rock star in me today. The things they had me doing, I can do within my business with my eyes closed. So the things I dreaded and I hated, and they prepared me for today. It's preparation. Wherever you are sitting and you know you want to go and you still holding back there and you know you're supposed to go, know that it's part of preparation. These skills will show up later in life and you'll look back and say, oh my goodness, if it were not for me being there, I wouldn't know I wouldn't know how to do this today.
Well, I got to say, Dr. Sheila, if it weren't for you being there at that moment when you left corporate to go and say yes to your vision, to write your action plan, to create success on your own terms, then we wouldn't be blessed by your journey. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Now, if there is anything like your favorite piece of advice you've ever either given or gotten to close our conversation today, what would you say that would be?
Well, one of my favorite quotes, and I have had to tell myself throughout my life to stay focused on my journey, my plan, my focus, and my assignment, is what other people say or do is a reflection of who they are. And what I say and do is a reflection of who I am. And you say it together, because if you allow what people think or say about you to want to retaliate, in the past, growing up as kids, we always got to have to say the last word. You don't allow anybody to steal, to rob your joy and your spirit to become who they are in the workplace, in relationships. I don't care where you are. If you are in your office and someone is performing a certain way and it is affecting you, no, that's who they are. There has been no reflection on you. But how you respond to it, how you carry you, how you show who you are, that's all your concern. Remember, what you say or do is a reflection of who you are.
Remember, what you say or do is a reflection of who you are. Thank you, Dr. Sheila, for being here and for dropping so much knowledge.
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor, Nicole. I love you dearly. I can't wait until we see each other soon, hopefully.
Yes,
and wish you all the best.
Thank you, girl. Love you too. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all three of these questions. Number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what will you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number three, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what would you do different? Or number three, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.